In this video, we will give an overview of the data type of tuple with Python programming. In some ways, a tuple is similar to a list, but the defining differences are important. A tuple is a finite series of ordered objects. Remember that everything in Python is an object. A tuple can contain a string, numerical data types, a list, a dictionary, nested tuples, which will be tuple inside a tuple, like we saw with nested lists, and a set. But it can also be a custom object type, for example, an ArcPy geometry. A tuple may contain ArcPy points, lines, or polygons, for example. A tuple is immutable. This means that it cannot be altered in place. This is significantly different than a list. A list is mutable, which means it can be altered in place, and we can use methods for the alterations and manipulations. A tuple is immutable. If you want to change a tuple that is associated to a variable, you need to overwrite that variable. A tuple is iterable. This means we can cycle through each element or object, and we'll see that later on in this course. For now, let's head over to PyScripter and take a look at the tuple data type in Python. We're in PyScripter and going to use the Python interpreter window. Let's declare a tuple variable. We'll call it empty tuple, and we'll set it equal to parentheses. This is how you define a tuple. Hit enter and then call the empty tuple variable. We can see it is empty parentheses. I can also type and put in the empty tuple and hit enter, and we'll see it is a tuple object. We can also create a tuple using the built-in tuple function. Hit enter. Again, we call empty tuple. We have our empty parentheses, and if we check the type, it is of class tuple. In GIS, you will often use tuples to hold attribute values. If you are using ArcPy, for example, and you are using the search cursor, the rows are returned as a tuple. Let's create a variable called attributes. Set that to equal our parentheses, and we'll put in Dublin, Ireland, 6.5 million in or about, Europe. And we'll create another tuple inside here. This will be a nested tuple, which we'll take a look at in another video. But pretend that these are coordinates, minus 6.23 and 53.36 for latitude and longitude. Hit enter, and now we'll call our attributes variable, and we can see we have our tuple returned. Tuples are often used as these coordinate pairs on their own. So if we set a variable called coordinates and set that to equal our parentheses, we could put other coordinates in here, 7.57 and 54.65. Hit enter and then call our coordinates variable, and it is returned. We could use these as vertices for polygons, lines, or as simple points. Using the built-in tuple function, we can cast any iterable to a tuple. We'll create a variable called text, and we'll set that to equal a string of geospatial. We'll then create a variable called letters, and we'll set that to equal our built-in tuple function, and we'll supply in the text variable. Hit enter. Now when we call our letters, we can see that each letter is an entry in the tuple. In this video, we got a general overview of the tuple data type with Python. Although the tuple might feel similar to a list, it is not the same. It does not act the same. A list is mutable, a tuple is immutable. We declare a tuple using parentheses. In our examples here, we created tuples with multiple objects. There is a treasure hunt I want you to go on, and I want you to find out how do you declare a tuple with one element to it, one object. Go over and check out your reference book for more information.